suppose I could unmute my microphone. That would probably help. Hello, everyone. I see we already have some people in the chat. Oh, hello! Lots of familiar names here. Hello. Glad I made it to a live before it even started for once. I actually finally, for once, gave a little bit of heads up before I got started. uh, I typically don't let the timer run out so much, but I was having a tiny bit of trouble motivating. I would have had even more time for people to filter in if I had set it up before I did the thumbnail, but I wanted to do a thumbnail. Oh, I see lots of tea drinkers in the audience. Yeah, Savannah, this is the same chat that shows up on the live later. I have Sunny helped me set up like a cute little overlay, so it's the same chat, but it comes through on the screen. Just in case when the chat replay comes up, sometimes that is not as fast as the rest of the thing is. I hope the audio sounds okay.
Hello,
oh,
everyone.
oh
I see
God,
we
how is
already
that
have-
happening? Okay. I guess I had a tab open and it just started. Sorry for the second of delay there. All right. Hello. I don't really have anything planned for this stream. I said as much on Blue Sky too. I kind of just am a little bit in a melancholy the last few days after I've been finishing up working on that 5 feet apart deep dive. That video ended up being a lot more draining than I was kind of anticipating it to be, which I guess I should have known going into it. But it just, I think I said that in the video too. It all coalesced on me and hit me very hard in the last few days of working on it. And I technically could have continued working on it through the weekend, but I reached a point where I was like, you know what? It's kind of starting to feel like engaging in a form of emotional self-harm to continue digging in really deep about Baldoni's exploitation of the sick and the terminally ill. So once I got to a point where I felt like I kind of understood as much as I needed to understand, I was like, I should wrap this up probably. And then now I'm still kind of ruminating on it, especially because I'm getting a lot of really amazing and thoughtful comments on that video. But I felt like doing a live stream to kind of try to shake myself out a little bit and put myself in a better headspace. And streaming has been something that's been very useful for me for that lately. So I thought I would just kind of come on and hang out and talk to all of you. I'm doing some laundry today, as is referenced in the title. So in like 15 minutes or so, I'm gonna need to go move my stuff over to the dryer. But then I will be back and we will continue to hang out. Nobody should be doing method acting for YouTube videos. You gotta take care of your piece, right? Like it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Hello, hi, Sunny. Laundry day. Yeah, I have one load started. I'm in laundry clothes. I have to wear shorts even though it's cold outside because my only pair of pants needs to be washed. Yeah, so I didn't really plan for what to show, or I didn't sorry, I didn't plan anything to go through and watch together. I do want to do more of those videos though. I know a couple of you who will probably catch this on the live stream, at least if you're not already here, probably saw Medusini did a stream last night of Baldoni's big surprise proposal video for his wife, which I hadn't actually watched yet, and I was very, 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 very excited not to have to watch it alone, because that's why I hadn't watched it yet. I hadn't thought about doing a live stream for it yet because it hadn't come up in any of my videos. So that was fun. It was really fun to be on somebody else's Baldoni deep dive as it was happening because it's fun to watch somebody else respond to this motherfucker. I'm clicking around right now in my inbox just because I'm pulling up. This is going to be interesting only to a few of you. But I was I was thinking I could talk about my original character Bobby, because I love him, and that's something that I'm always able to info dump about. So I kind of just wanted to stream. I wanted to talk about some stuff, and yeah. Oh, Jojo, you over here? Come here. Jojo is currently she's on the towel that I keep on top of my dresser, and she's sniffing it. She's really upset because I was trying to figure out earlier if that towel, which has been clean but I haven't been using because I've been using my other towel because she sleeps on it. Anyway, a lot of words just to say earlier I like shook off a bunch of hair from that towel, and then I was like, this is probably fine to not put in the wash since I'm running low on space. But now she's sniffing it because she's offended that it doesn't have a bunch of her hair on it anymore. Um, so, yeah, my best friend is at work. But my best friend, who you sometimes can see in my live stream chats, Kate, they have a Diane from BoJack profile picture, and the Mod Wrench. Kate is an artist, and Kate and I write about our characters from this tabletop role playing game, Monster of the Week, which I haven't even gotten to play in like 2 years because my party completely fell apart. But I became completely obsessed with my original character. This is the boy. This is Bobby Claremont. I love him so much. We've written like it's literally not any kind of exaggeration to say that we have written like millions of words about this guy. We just go back and forth in a Google Doc. He was I originally just kind of wanted like some dumbass red herring for my like first episode. We played a game called Monster of the Week, which is like a tabletop role playing game, and I needed, like I said, I needed a red herring. They were, I think the mystery was like a haunted doll toy shop thing, or no, it was kind of like that though. It was the the actual bad guy was a guy who was running a toy store, but I had a red herring bad guy who was a mall Santa, and I thought that it would be really, really funny if there was a mall Santa who was actually just like this scrawny 27-year-old fuck up. And it is really funny, but I gave him too good of a name, and he was a little bit too funny when I was performing him as an NPC. So the party became completely obsessed with him. I mean, rightfully so, right? Like I explained, like this like little skinny fuck up mall Santa 27-year-old guy, and I'm like, oh, and his name is Bobby Claremont, and they're like, obviously this is a very important character, and he wasn't going to be, but he ended up. He ended up being so important to like the story and also just to me personally. My best friend hadn't started playing yet. I started playing like I played one session before they joined because they were really busy with like end of year stuff because they work at a bookstore. And so I told them about Bobby, and I told them like, oh, I love Bobby. I think I've decided that Bobby has like a vampire boyfriend at home. Anyway, Kate started playing with us, and they pitched to me what if my character was Bobby's dad. And I was obsessed with that. I loved that so much. I thought that was really fun. So we didn't start writing about our characters until after we had played. But we started we started like thinking about like backstory. We started talking about like, okay, like this is like a sad divorced dad, so like what's Bobby's relationship with his mom like, what's his mom named, and we ended up filling out like all this stuff. And then everyone, even though we said that Kate was playing that night, everyone kind of forgot that Kate was playing because we just started playing, and I just didn't call on Kate because we didn't have Alan introduced yet. And then eventually, because again it's like a monster hunting game, so like they went to go to investigate a haunted house, and when they got there, Alan was there, and everyone's reaction as like Kate as Alan and me as Bobby were like Spider-Man pointing at each other. What the fuck are you doing here? That was so fun. That was one of the most fun things I've ever pulled off. Because nobody knew that Kate's character was going to be Bobby's dad. So that was very, very fun. I think I've got Alan in here. I think I downloaded that one. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. Let me see here. Let's see. What do I have? I do. Yeah. So this is Bobby's parents. They look very much like him, right? Like that's Alan, and Dana, and then that was Bobby that we were just looking at. So this is Alan and Dana, and I am obsessed with this art. Again, my bestie is an artist, and we met through the Hunger Games fandom. So if anybody's watching this who used to be in the Hunger Games fandom and they're thinking this is familiar, but this is Alan and Dana, and they're the parents, and they are divorced, and they're we didn't realize this when we first started writing, but we ended up coming up with like very extensive soulmate lore. And so we knew that they were divorced, and then we eventually came up with the idea of like there are soulmates in this universe that we write, but also you can like fail at at your soulmate relationship, and so you're still like drawn to each other, especially in their case because they have a kid. You're still like drawn to each other, but you're like a like failed soulmate, and like you're not bound to end up like being together and being happily ever after, but like you will still be in each other's lives or whatever. So they're failed soulmates, and then they ended up getting back together later. Which Bobby calls getting revorsed, as opposed to divorced. I love I love these characters. I love Bobby so much. He's my favorite boy. And it's really fun to have like so much distinct lore for the parents. Like they their first date, because they got set up by Alan's best friend who ended up choosing Dana in the divorce later. They got set up by Alan's best friend, and their first date was at Lollapalooza 1992. And they had Bobby after she got pregnant on their first date at Lollapalooza, which I find delightful and very fun. It just is it's very fun. We just write, like we would have so much fucking lore like just in our heads and in our private Google Docs, and then somebody else like while we were playing would say something, and we would like just like lose our minds because we had so much off book stuff, that I don't know. It would have I think it would have been hard to keep up if everybody in our party got as obsessed with their characters as we did, because then we would all just be like so deep in lore. But also I can't. I imagine either it's very, very fun when your DM and one other player are like putting in full-time hours developing their characters, or you're just like, can we please roll some dice? And I'm very much a not a can we please roll some dice sort of DM. Like I'll call for a roll when it's funny. But otherwise, I am mostly here for like the actual role playing part of the tabletop role playing game. I think it's really fun. We always say like it's like me and Kate, our joke is always like I want to play a tabletop role playing game because I want to play pretend with my friends, not because I want to do a bunch of math. Which is also something that I really, really like about Monster of the Week is it's only two six-sided dice that you roll with, and there is a very limited number of like buffs and stuff, so there's not a lot of math that needs to be done, which is again probably my favorite part of it. Yeah, I love Monster. Ooh, I'm sorry, I just hit my microphone. I love Monster of the Week though, and yeah, I probably should have waited until a stream where Kate was here to show off their art, but I just love this art so much, and they've already given me permission to post it online, so it's fine. I've been role-playing around 20 years at this point, and I have many, many a Blorbo and one comfort main at the moment that I take with me everywhere. Absolutely. It's like I think if I ended up playing other tabletop role playing games at this point, I would really struggle to connect with anybody as much as with Bobby. But we also have so many other characters like in the universe that I think I could come up with other characters, and there are so many. there are so many characters in our in our Monster of the Week universe. Um, we're we're set in Trenton, New Jersey for some reason, which is like not how you're supposed to play Monster of the Week anyway. Like, if anybody knows anything about Monster of the Week, just the fact that I'm saying that we are set in Trenton, New Jersey is probably enough for them to be like, oh, you don't actually play Monster of the Week, if they're like a real rule stickler. But we ended up being set in Trenton because I was like not very familiar with what I'm doing as a gamekeeper, and I was like, what kind of city do you live in? Kind of thinking that we were going to end up traveling eventually, and I meant like, are you in are you in the country? Are you in the South? Whatever. And the answer I got when I asked, what kind of city do you think you guys all live in, was, oh, I don't know, like New Jersey. And I was like, hilarious. Absolutely. Sure. We're in New Jersey. And then because Kate and I are the way that we are, just knowing that they were in New Jersey. Ooh, just knowing that they were in New Jersey was not enough for us. We needed to know exactly where in New Jersey, and we thought through like, okay, is it Trenton? Is it Jersey City? Where does Bobby go? If he wants to go to a museum, like what museums does his dad drive him to? Do they go to Philly for that sometimes? It's very fun, and it's also extra funny because I have never been to New Jersey. I live in Massachusetts. I'm not very far from it, but I have never had occasion to go to I have never had occasion to go to New Jersey, and I feel like at this point now I have to eventually. I eventually have to go to New Jersey. I'm gonna go make my own little tourist map of New Jersey, of Trenton, New Jersey, and be like, this is roughly where that is. My fiance used my OC's name for a Smurf Overwatch account. I was very honored. I love that. My friends and I would always create our OCs in pick route in The Sims. Yes, I love, I'm so mad that I lost that save because I had it on an external drive that dropped, like, off of my desk and broke. But I had a save where I had done, like, these very, very in-depth Sims versions of many of our characters. And they were so perfect that I cannot bring myself to even try again. Like, I've tried a few times to get a good Bobby sim again, but like all of the other ones that I had that were like perfect, I'm like, fuck it, I'm not getting close again on my other Monster Hunters. Okay, so my timer did go off, and it defeats the purpose of doing a body doubling stream if I don't then go do something once the timer for it goes off. So I'm going to go put my stuff in the dryer. If there's anything you want to talk about when I get back, let me know. But I am just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna put Bobby back on. I'll just put Bobby back on. Oh my gosh! I forgot to even show you this one. This is the first one that Kate drew. This I have two huge poster versions of that I got made at CVS because they accidentally printed it twice, and I was like, yeah, I'll take them. So I have this in my room and also in my kitchen, and none of my roommates even know why this is in the kitchen, and none of them have asked me. But this is Bobby and his vampire boyfriend Dimitri. They met when Dimitri bit him, but then they had like a psychic connection because Bobby is a psychic. Bobby can read other people's minds, which he gets really bad migraines about. But Bobby's a psychic, so it bounced back. And Dimitri is a mama's boy whose mama died hundreds of years ago, and he heard Bobby like being like sad that his mom would be sad if he died. So Dimitri ended up dumping Bobby at like a hospital, and texting Dana from Bobby's phone. But this is the first piece of art that Kate drew for me, and I love him. I love him so much. I love Bobby. Bobby does not have vampire teeth. He has a scar on the side of his neck from where Dimitri bit him, and he stopped being able to get hurt after that because he has like a curse, which is why he's psychic. And the way that you like beat the curse is like if your soulmate is somebody whose mind he couldn't read, and it only works on alive human beings. So it doesn't work on Dimitri because he's a vampire, so he's dead. So Bobby is now like immortal, on account of I didn't want him to have to become a vampire, and I also didn't want Dimitri to have to like watch his human lover die, right? So Bobby is now immortal and he heals. He just like regenerates anything, which is also very convenient when you're playing Monster of the Week and you need to be able to hurt an NPC to motivate your characters and you don't want to kill him. But he he got a tattoo, and like all of the ink just like pushed out of the tattoo into his sheets. I think about that all the time. I think that was really cool. But yeah, he's a little human boy. He's permanently 27. And I love him. Yeah, Dimitri, very much mama's boy with no mama. He's Russian. I don't even know how I ended up landing on Russian because I had like a very clear image of like he is brown, but he's Russian. He's from Russia, and he goes by the last name, like the feminine version of his last name, specifically because Americans are too dumb to even notice, and because that actually was his mother's last name. So he goes by Dmitry Abramova, and typically I think it would be Abramov if it was like the masculine version. But he loves his mom, and his mom was like a seamstress, and Dimitri is a tailor. Dimitri tailors all of his clothes, and he tailors all of Bobby's clothes for him. And because Dimitri's seamstress mother existed like before sewing machines, Dimitri is very fussy and insists on doing his sewing by hand. And he will like mend, he'll mend stuff that Bobby has that was made by machine, but Dimitri refuses to use a sewing machine, and I need to do my laundry. I'm talking about clothes. Dimitri is in my head. Dimitri would want me to do my laundry. I'm just powering up. I'm powering up. I needed the Dimitri motivation. I will be back in just a couple of minutes. I just gotta run downstairs and switch my laundry over. But thank you for coming to OC Lore Hour. All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna also mute my microphone because I think you might be able to hear my roommates. I'm back. Hello. I forgot to put in my roommate group chat that I was going out through the back door and I got locked out. I had to, had to have my roommate come let me in. Um, hello. Hello, welcome. If anybody came in while I was gone, I am doing my laundry. I just info dumped about my OCs while I was waiting for the washer to finish running, and then I just moved everything over to the dryer. So now I'm back. All right. So, it's honestly, at least he saw it right away, because I might have had to go around otherwise. But it's fine. We don't have keys for our like door that goes down to the basement. Nobody does. So we have to lock it after ourselves. But normally I put like an unlock emoji in our group chat. But I forgot. I was like, it's fine, and I'm on stream, whatever. But it was not, in fact, fine. I'm so grateful for this community because I have no one to talk to in real life about my feelings on it and with us other than my wonderful but chronically offline mother. Thank you. Well, I'm very glad that the Nuance Corner can be helpful for that. I think about this a lot because I obviously like I'm looking at it a lot. I'm like doing research a lot, etc. But I completely can imagine like somebody who doesn't have other people in their life who are like plugged into these spaces like needing an outlet, cuz I need an outlet. I don't even think people who I'm friends with care about this as much as I do. And I needed to talk about it so much on like I needed to talk about it so much. And I remember when the Amber Heard Johnny Depp defamation trial was going on, I was like posting some about it on Facebook, and I had like a handful of friends who would sometimes like engage with me about it. But I remember feeling a lot of energy with nowhere to put it about the Depp versus Heard trial. And I've said this before in videos and on my channel and especially in live streams, but like I had this thought in my head of like, I want to make videos and I want to be able to talk about it next time that there's something going on, like the Amber Heard trial, where like we can see immediately by looking at it that something terrible and misogynistic and with terrible impacts for other people is going to happen. And I started with some easier things to kind of teach myself how to make videos and stuff. By the time I started making the videos about Quiet on Set, which I think was about a year ago at this point. That's when I was like, okay, I think I know enough about how to make a video that I can start talking about more serious things. I guess my 13 Reasons Why video also was kind of serious, because that's, I think, the first one where I was like, oh, wait, actually, this guy is a sex pest. But I wasn't talking about like current things until I was talking about the Drake Bell one. But the Drake Bell one, I kind of thought like, okay, this is like a redemption campaign for an abusive man. This is pretty close to the kind of thing that I said that I wanted to talk about. And it still is. Like, I'm still very glad that I made those videos and intend on making similar sorts of videos in the future. But this particular, like, the smear campaign, the stuff like that, that's all normal. Like, I mean, sorry, not normal, but like, that's it. Like, that's the one where I'm like, that's exactly, like, this is what I want to be talking about. What happened with the Ruth Cokerberg's video? Nothing happened to it. It should still be up, I think. Is it not up? That's from last June. If it's not up, that's a big problem. Yeah, Ruth Kokerberg's video is up. That was from June 22nd of last year. That was what I was going to start with. Like, because I liked the idea by then of, like, I want to do deep dives and stuff. And then I came across with that one and I was like, oh, I'll do this. But it wasn't, no, it's definitely up. That's the link for the Ruthless one. It's Ruthless, the real story behind the cemetery angel of Arkansas, all the young men scam exposed. Um, yeah. I guess I got some Nuance Corner homework because I didn't realize you did a 13 Reasons Why video. I hate the Netflix show so much that I refuse to read the book. It was one of my favorite videos to work on in like my first like 10 or so that I did. I hated the book. I hated the show even more. But I reread the book because I hadn't read it since before I had seen the show, and it's terrible. It's just it's very clear that it Jay Asher, that's his name. Asher is very, very exploitative of somebody in his life. I think he said it was a relative. I think he only ever described as a female relative who like struggled with suicidality, and I think who had eventually died by suicide. And the way he talks about her is so weird, and also like he didn't know until people started telling him that his book was like this big amazing awareness raising thing that he had even written a book about bullying. Like he wrote a book where the conceit was, here are 13 reasons why this character killed herself, and many of them are related to people treating her very poorly in school. But he literally in interviews is like, oh yeah, I didn't even notice that this is a book about bullying. And it's like, bro, what the fuck? I hate that guy so much. He's extremely, extremely Baldoni coded. I didn't even really think about it until Little Shop of Alley left a comment on my most recent video and was like, oh, I feel like if Baldoni had gotten the rights to 13 Reasons Why instead of Selena Gomez, it would have been even worse. And that's so true. I found you through an Eat Predators video by complete accident. I thought your voice was soothing, so here we are. Oh, thank you. I see Chris said you found me through the Podco video. I loved making the Podco video. The Podco video was really fun. And also one of, I feel like, increasingly vanishingly few times where I get to do a deep dive and it's like just fun. Normally by the time I care about something enough to do a deep dive, there's like something deeply fucked up under the surface. But Podco was like very low stakes because despite Alexa Nicholas's beliefs, former child actors are not a protect and discriminated against class. Respect to knowing the difference in Abramova and Abramov. Not how it works, though. Is it? Okay, so I know that his last name would be different. Like, he wouldn't have the same last name as his mother, because his last name would be based on his father, right? So I was writing it, I'm under the understanding that if his mother's last name was based off of her father, but it was the female version, and then he later on, like once he's living in America, he wants to feel more connected to his mother than he does to his father. So he wanted to take the last name that his mother had. But I do know very little about like actually how Russian names work, other than I know that there would be a positive and a negative. But like I know it wouldn't actually be his last name. But I kind of just liked the idea of him like taking his mother's name. But I also might just, I just might be wrong. But still. I found you through Mika, and here we are. Thank you. Are you going to potentially cover the I'm Alex allegations at some point? No pressure, but I've seen way too much mutual abuse takes from other creators, and I would love an Ophi take on it all. Thank you. I didn't really look into the I'm Alex things when the allegations were first, like, surfacing, because I felt like a lot of other people were talking about it, but I'm more interested in talking about it now that he has responded, and especially if people are doing the mutual abuse thing about it, because as I'm sure anybody who cares enough to be here on a live knows, I think mutual abuse is fucking bullshit. So that's a good tip. Thank you very much. You're doing amazing. I watched you grow for a year in speedrun. You grew a lot. Thank you. I feel like I end up talking about this pretty much every week in therapy, because like I'll be talking about something else and then like the videos will come up, because I feel like it has changed a lot about like even just my general confidence, even when I'm not like, well, now I'm losing my train of thought. But like, my confidence when I'm making videos is hugely different than it was when I first started. But also like my confidence just like as a person and in my self-worth, I feel like has greatly improved by way of making videos and getting so much amazing like validation and feedback and responses from people. It has made just the biggest difference in my life. Sometimes I go back and I watch part of even like my early Alexa Nicholas videos, and I'm like, who the fuck was that? um, I found you through Fat Sajak's video on the Baldoni situation. A lot of people in the comments were saying to check out your video as well, so I did. Thank you. I think that's so cool that people plug my videos in other relators, other creators. I found you because of your video on Swoop. I was neutral on her until she locked in on justice for Depp and wondered if others felt the same. They absolutely do. There's like, I think that's one of the things that I hear the most from the Swoop video is people being like, oh, I didn't really look into this because I've just been avoiding her ever since she was very extremely pro Johnny Depp, which I think is such a fair, I mean, I talk about this all the time, like that's such a fair decision to make you not want to engage with somebody's content anymore. It's just painful to watch people victim blame her because I heavily relate to her having been through intimate partner violence and abuse as well. I don't know a ton about the iMalik stuff, but I felt as if it was I feel like my understanding in the summer or whenever everybody was talking about it was along the lines that like I felt like everybody was on her side, and it's very upsetting to me that all it takes is for the accused aggressor to put out one response, and then people start saying, "Oh my God," people start saying, "Wow, this is mutual. Obviously, it's not his fault." I feel like that also. I mean, I'm thinking now about the Naomi King Daniel Green thing, where it felt as though everybody supported Naomi, and then actually the aggressor gives one little defense of themselves and everybody's just doesn't give a shit anymore about their pretend to care for the victim, because you don't care about a victim unless the aggressor says you're right, they're a victim, which is bullshit. And like it's very frustrating to me that for so many people it works like that. About Russian names, basically difference between Abramov, Abramova is purely grammatical. An I is a feminine signifier, so it literally says Fem Abramov. It isn't giving connection to mother in Russian. Alright, I feel like I'm so far deep into having written him by going by Abramova. But I do understand that it is a reach. It was just my closest, other than refusing to use a sewing machine, my closest example of the way I write about him being a mama's boy. But I am unsurprised that my little misunderstanding of Russian is not quite accurate. I'm very extremely monolingual. Most people were on her side. I haven't seen any mutual abuse stuff because my curated timeline is a bliss, but I don't doubt it's been happening. Yeah, exactly. Everyone was on her side until he posted the video, and now it switches. That sucks so much. I assume I saw you first on the Baldoni Reddit because I still have no real clue who or what the Alexa thing is despite watching videos on it. So real. If he was struggling with connection to mother, he'd probably take her maiden name, but in male version. So if her surname before the marriage was Sinova and after Abramova, he would take Sinova as opposed to Abramova. Yeah. I think I did misexplain that, because it is her maiden name that he took and not his father's name. But it's still very much a reach. I had him take her father's name and then also continue to use the feminine version specifically because it was the version that she had used and he was not in Russia anymore. the comments on his video were still like not for him, but it was like they're both toxic and at fault. People fucking love that shit. Um, I hate it. I feel like it's that's its own video topic, and a video topic that is so huge that like I rarely even know where to start. But like the the excitement with which people reach the conclusion of like, oh, everyone here is bad and I don't need to feel any empathy at all, like that's fucked up. That's and it's a thought terminating cliche. I don't need to think about this anymore because I just decided that they both suck and I don't need to feel bad about this. Like, fuck you. You need to feel bad about it. Either you feel bad about it or you don't care. Like, there shouldn't be a level of like they're both terrible and therefore it does not matter. Somebody always swung first. Somebody always made it more toxic before the other person started responding to how toxic it is. And it's not as hard as people pretend like it is to look at the fucking, like, to look at the history of events, to look at the power dynamic, to look at things that are going on, and, like, discern which person has more power and who you should be listening to versus who has and is abusing more power. I really hate the they're both toxic rhetoric because it's an implicit support of someone deserving abuse just because someone is problematic. I completely agree. I completely agree. People who jumped on the initial Blake is a vapid mean girl hate train just don't want to admit that they were wrong and cyberbullied a woman for no reason. I feel like I say this quite a bit where it it's easier to convince people that they were right all along than to convince people that they were in fact wrong. But Adam's video about the I'm Alex thing was teetering on the they're both terrible, and it made me uncomfy, but he was also unsure. Guess that's why I'm not a huge fan of reacts to this sort of stuff, because you don't have time to think about the situation and give yourself and have an informed opinion. I agree. I completely agree. I have a kind of tangent, but I mean, I don't know how much of a tangent it even is. But this kind of makes me think of when, and I know some people did really, really love these videos, but it kind of makes me think of when Council of Geeks really rushed to make content about the Neil Gaiman allegations, and I say that having also pretty quickly made content about the Neil Gaiman allegations. But Council of Geeks, I felt like her videos were very much trying to, like, I don't know, it was trying to find a way to not need to listen to the allegations, but to also say, well, if they are real, then they are real, and that's bad. Which is why they had to continually come back multiple times and be like, and to be clear, I do believe the allegations. And I think that a lot of the reasons where those videos were not great in the first one is because they were very much like they did not have time to sort through their actual reaction and what they would actually want to say. And if they had waited like maybe even just a couple of weeks to a month, I don't think that they would have put out a video that felt so, yeah, exactly. Barney McFlone says Council of Geeks videos felt like cope. Yeah, I think they wouldn't have put out such a copey video if they had given themselves a bit more time to actually think through what they were saying and how they felt about it. It's something we've seen in the news cycle, but it's worse because YouTubers are individuals that are entitled to have bias, as opposed to how we see journalism as an institution, even though everything has bias. Yeah, I agree. I think so too, and I think you're right that, like, doing that as a reaction, it's not something I would do. I mean, I'm thoughtful about the about the things that I react to. Like when I did that Man Enough stream, where they were talking about Me Too, and they started talking about, like, they just started, like, jumping into, like, really explicit stories of trauma and sexual violence against women, and I would never have live streamed that if I knew that that's where it was going. Like, I ended up having to fast forward through some of it. Yeah, I felt bad for Council, though, honestly. Yes, I also felt bad for her, and it's a situation I think any one of us could have found ourselves in, or have found ourselves in, where a creator we love does something terrible. Yes, yeah, like, I think the camera is focusing on the mic. Okay, okay. I got a really nice email trying to tell me how to make the audio sound better, and they said the audio sounds better if I talk into the side and not into the tip. But now I'm hoping that the microphone will not be the focus of the camera. but yes, I mean, it does absolutely make total sense to me, that, it makes total sense to me that Council of Geeks felt that way about Neil Gaiman, and especially because of the podcast itself having so much baggage. I mean, like, my video also was about the fact that the podcast has a lot of baggage, but I was almost there. It's the side with the logo on it. Okay, so do I have it sideways? Because I have the logo on. Do I need to move it? Do I need to be talking to it like this, like the side with the logo on it, which would be like this? So like my voice is coming in here. Is this better? Because when you were saying the side, I was thinking like the side of the side. Oh, did it disconnect when I moved it? It's now not. Is it working now? Okay. Now it connected again. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I was thinking like side as in I'm talking on into the side, but the side with the logo on it, if that's what it means. Logo should be looking at me. But I as in, like, you want it, like, pointed, like, down, like this? Or as in, I need it to the side? Because I have the logo on top. I can point the logo at me like this, and then I'm talking into it. I don't know how this sounds. I feel like I'm just... I appreciate this is fully a design issue. Okay. So right now I put it like this so that I have the logo pointing towards me. Is that correct? Also, sorry for the shot of my shorts. So, okay, this sounds even better. Okay, this is not so hard, and also this makes us so that it's not even in the shot to focus on instead for the camera. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for helping me to troubleshoot this. I just got this week, but it doesn't actually connect to, because it's the wrong kind of base. But I did get a pop filter. I just need to figure out how to attach this to my setup. But I do have this now. I don't know if this is going to make a huge difference once I have it set up. But I am excited. I feel like there are definitely things that I can figure out here. But I have this. I got this actually just right before I filmed the conclusion part for the most recent video, and I was like, I feel like it's going to be distracting if I suddenly have a pop filter towards the very end. Okay, if you stand it upright, it'll be even better, but as long as your mouth is going towards the logo side. Okay, so I feel like I'm gonna... like this, because this is with the logo on the bottom, but my mouth is here. It's working again. Yeah, it had to disconnect as I flipped it over. But I did flip it over. And so this is if I have it like this and then I stand it up and my mouth is going towards the blue logo Yeti. Like, I can stand it all the way up. I can have it kind of towards the bottom. I feel like I'm gonna just rewatch this later, and it'll see what sounds better and how I should position it next time. But if this is how it's supposed to be, that makes so much sense. Like, that stood up. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I think mouth towards Yeti logo works better than the other way. Perfect. Okay, yes. And it's a clamp. It's kind of a janky clamp. But I do think that I can totally clamp this to my desk. Cause it doesn't fit around any of the parts of the Yeti stand. But I was thinking either I can, either it'll clamp to something else like my desk, or, I can get a different stand for the Yeti mic even that this might connect to. But that's exciting. That's exciting to have, because people were telling me like, oh, you should have like, I people have definitely tried to tell me things about the blue, like the logo before. And I've gotten conflicting things of like, it should be on the top or it should be on the bottom. And I've tried both of those, but it hasn't made sense to me because I've been talking into the tip of it. So this makes so much sense, of how to actually talk into the, into the side of the microphone. I really, really appreciate it. And also I'm really glad that you showed up, for the live in time to help me troubleshoot it in real time. People know you're using the mic, so it's not distracting to see it. IMO, yeah, I think so too. As long as the microphone isn't as long as the camera isn't focusing on that instead. Okay, well that is so exciting, and also just makes sense. Yeah, is it truly an Ophi live stream if she doesn't fiddle with the mic for a minute? I've gotten better at fiddling part of this. I've gotten better at fiddling part of it before. I at least know now, well enough to check on the... Sorry, I'm trying to hook this onto my desk as I'm talking. I've at least figured out enough to make sure that my mic is at the right volume. But the volume doesn't help very much if it's not getting my mouth the way it should. Oh my god, this clamps onto my desk so easily. Look at that. Okay, so the only thing is that this doesn't stay up. So I just need to clamp it somewhere slightly else than I had it. Okay. Okay, now, all right, this is very big in a shot. This is humongous. I disconnected the microphone one more time here. Is this too far away from me? I don't know. I'll need to play around. I'll need to play around with it a little bit. Yeah, it disconnects when I move it and then it comes back. But, I think this is perfectly fine. Perfect. Amazing. Yes, yeah. Well, Cam is the one who sent me the email, which was really, really helpful and thoughtful and so kind. I really appreciate it. I think the audio has been like a huge hurdle for me, in terms of there are a few things where like I know this sounds very braggy, but currently almost exactly the same as before. Okay. So I know this sounds a little bit braggy, but like I know that my content is good. Like I feel good about the quality of my content, but I also know that my content still very much looks like somebody who's new, which I don't really mind so much because like I am still new. I only started in December of 2023. And I do think that like having kind of a low production value makes people a little bit more forgiving towards me in a way that I don't mind. But also I do think that if my audio was like consistently really great, that I would probably get more like regular viewers, possibly, because there are certainly people who click on and notice that my audio isn't great and then do click off even though my content is still good. So I really appreciate when people have taken the time to like actually help me troubleshoot and not just be like, wow, this sounds like shit. So I appreciate it. Oh, okay, the small change in distance doesn't have a ton of impact on the sound intensity. Okay, I was scared that you were saying it was pretty much the same as before I started moving it around, and I was like, oh god, okay. Once I figure out how to make a lav mic work, it's over for you suckers. I was like, I could not figure out how to use that lav mic when I had them. I mean, I do still have them, but I was like, oh, people hold them, I'll just hold them. And then it sounded like shit. And somebody, again, very kindly, very, very kindly, was like, hey, just so you know, your microphone sounds bad because you are moving it, and it is not made to be moved around like that. Which was really nice, but a little more embarrassing. Yeah, I like the Yeti. I think the Yeti works well, and especially having the pop filter, I'm excited about. I didn't expect. I posted in my local Buy Nothing group, and I was like, hey, as humiliating as this is to say, I am a content creator. Did anybody ever get into making content and then have stuff they don't need anymore? And somebody was like, I have a pop filter you can have, and I was like, oh my god, I really need a pop filter. Definitely better than before you were messing around with it while Cam was super right about the improvements. I'm so glad. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm just looking at chat. I should have set a timer when I came back from putting my clothes in the dryer, and I did not. I don't think it's been long enough that it would be. I guess I'm gonna look at my own live stream and see how long ago I came back from putting stuff in the dryer, because normally I set something on my phone and I didn't this time. Okay. Let's see here. I'm so glad that the microphone is better. I feel like there have been a few times where I've recorded and I've been like, whoa, this sounds really good. So I'm hoping when I go back and watch this later that it will be, because this is easy for me to recreate. I feel like the other times I noticed that it sounds good, but not while I'm still doing it. Yeah, I really would have thought that you're supposed to talk into the tip of the microphone because of how the stand works, but like I guess it does let you stand it all the way up. Okay. Let's see. When did I do my laundry? I'm scrolling back. I came back about half an hour ago. Thank you so much. It's been 30 minutes. Thank you. I think that means that I have like another little bit. Okay. All right. I have an app like for my laundry. And in theory, it should tell me when my stuff is ready, but it actually never does. It does sometimes for a wash, but not for the dryer. I think the dryer load is 45 minutes. Let me see. Yeah, so I'll just set an alarm for 15 minutes from now to go grab my stuff. It's also nice to have seen the improvements in real time, so my brain has proof. That means bananas. That sounds bananas, but hopefully someone knows what I mean. I know what you mean too. When I've had to talk about it, when I've had to when I've had to adjust the microphone before, sometimes on stream, I've been like, I don't even know how big of a difference it makes. And then I watch the stream later, and like the microphone, when it's the right microphone, because I used to start streaming and I would be using the microphone from my webcam, which I had to like disable because it really wanted to use it. But I would be using it, and then I would put it on this one, and watching it back later, it would be like my voice goes from being so distant to like coming right through your ears. That was some chill music. It was an ad that was running when my live stream when I went to go check on the live stream. I have the same mic, and yeah, it definitely feels weird to talk into it how you're supposed to at first. Yeah. I'm glad it's not just me. I'm also doing laundry and using your stream to keep track of what I need to swap out. I love that. I love, I didn't realize until a few streams ago, last time I did laundry while I was hanging out, that like this is such a good body double for me, when I need to do laundry, because I have lots of accountability to actually do it. I mean, when I was talking about Dimitri over there, I had lots of accountability about whether or not I was going to actually do my laundry. I'm probably going to edit some pics for my first handmade prints. Pray for me. Ooh, nice. Good luck. Yeah, so I mentioned it earlier too, but I watched Medusini's live stream last night about Baldoni's surprise proposal to his wife, and that thing's nuts if you haven't already seen it. I think Medusini was able to leave her stream up, so you can watch it later, but it just won't let her make money off of it, because there is a ton of songs that he lip syncs along to over the course of this long dramatic proposal that he did for his wife, and it was a lot. One thing I also found interesting in it, I mean, I guess not even interesting enough that I was gonna do actually like a video about it or anything, but I did find it interesting that he does drag a little bit in it, but it's not real drag. Like it's very clearly joke drag, and I feel like so often it's really easy to tell the difference between like joke drag and real drag, and something about just like seeing him in this little dress and this wig as a joke, I was just like, I know too much about how this guy feels about gender and gender roles and bioessentialism to feel like there's anything really good-natured in him prancing around in a dress like it's a joke. It's weird. Bro drag. Yeah, I think bro drag is a really good word for it. Like it's very haha, wouldn't it be ridiculous? Like there was no gender happening there. If there was gender happening there, I wouldn't have been annoyed by it, but I was very annoyed by it. I'm doing laundry also and writing a qualitative report. Nice. I love that we could do our laundry together. That's really cool. Joke drag, like real feminists do. Right. Yes. That proposal that was not about his wife at all. It's wild to me that he has such feminist credibility. And also, I mean, I know Jasmine was looking at the comments underneath, but like the comments underneath too, people were like, "Wow, I love this. This man is amazing. This made me cry." And it's like, how did this make you cry? This was corny and not cool, and not even about how much he loves his wife. He's ready to embody womb worlds. Yes, genderless drag is a crime against humanity. Josh Sater pro drag. I think I feel similarly too about people's reaction to the proposal as I do to the way people react to his natalist feminist. It's so feminist when I love it when my wife gives birth to my babies thing. Like people reacted to that really strongly. Like he was saying something cool and amazing, and it's like, what? Why are we acting like this isn't just how dudes feel all the time? Wearing women's clothing as a joke is about degrading women. It's that femininity is a joke. Yes. Yeah, he literally, like, it is wouldn't it be funny if I was non-masculine? Which is not a super feminist thing to think is a really funny bit. I don't think it's particularly feminist to think that femininity is degrading, and there's not another read on, like, oh, I'm whatever. It's like, it's very, it's nitpicky because there are so many other things this guy has done that are so much worse, but I was just so annoyed by the bro drag. Everyone just saw the Laundry Lab stream title and thought to themselves, I have to do that, don't I? Baldoni marketed himself so hard as a male feminist, books, podcasts, etc. because he's literally no other talents to lean on outside of being a fake bitch. I hate the binary thinking about Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively. She's the villain, so obviously he must be perfect. Every genuine, reasonable criticism of him is twisted into an attack, and he is excused for it. Yes! Somebody commented on my video about 5 Feet Apart, and they said, I'm sorry that somebody hurt you so badly that you're taking it out on Justin Baldoni. 5 Feet Apart is a great film. Thumbs down on this video. And it was like, actually, Justin Baldoni has hurt people so badly that he needs to have it taken out on him. This has nothing to do with me. This has nothing to do with whether or not people have hurt me, but also, yes, I, as a disabled woman, did in fact have some fucking feelings about this man's exploitation of the disabled. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's very clearly, like, they saw that and they didn't even bother to care what the actual context or what my actual argument was. They were just like, Justin good, Blake bad. And then that's as far as they feel they need to think through anything, and that counts as critical thinking. I toasted that guy in the comments. You did. You did. The comments, there were like 11 replies to that comment. It was very funny. Right, Justin Baldoni hurt us. Mm-hmm. I do feel like Baldoni's divine feminine version of feminism is giving big turf stank. Like, it's one stop away from actual turf. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I've never... We've talked about how Blake Lively has used the T slur in ways that she should not have, but also while it was not as known widely outside of the queer community that is not a word that should be used. Blake gets a lot of shit for having used the T slur in a statement that was trans supportive, in a statement that was, if I have children, I hope I have daughters, or transgender women, because I have lots of shoes that I'd like to fill and lots of shoes I'd like to share and stories I'd like to tell, or something like that. And obviously she did not say transgender women, but transgender women is what she meant. And that's more ally coded than anything that I've heard Baldoni say as pertains to trans people. I mean, I know that there is a gay character in 5 Feet Apart, which I think the gay character is gay because Poe is meant to be a wink towards Travis Flores, which makes me even angrier. I know there is one gay character who dies in 5 Feet Apart. But other than that, I don't think I've seen Baldoni even attempt to brand himself as, like, a gay ally, certainly not as any kind of trans ally. And that's, again, I mean... His male feminist thing is, I am a male feminist because I believe complementarianism, and I do, you know, all the love in my heart to trans people. Trans people throw a wrench into complementarianism, as they should, but, like, they do. And I don't feel like any need for being trans affirmative has even crossed Baldoni's mind. Which, again, how are you trying to be a feminist if you don't feel like you have an obligation to make how you feel about trans people clear? In ContraPoint's voice, as a trans woman, I don't mind that Blake said the T-slur like 13 years ago in a comment meant to be positive. Considering what we're going through right now, that's nothing. Like I said, if somebody reads that and they're like, oh god, nobody should have been saying that, that's totally fine. but you have to look at what she was actually saying. And what she was actually saying, as you said, it was meant to be positive. Unfortunately, that's a really based thing for her to have been saying in, like, 2009 or whenever the fuck it was. Like, unfortunately, she just didn't have the right language for it. I would like to hope that once she does have the right language for it, she hasn't still been using that word. I haven't seen her use that word recently. Like, you're not obligated to forgive somebody, but I think you are obligated to see whether or not somebody was attempting to attack you, and to not act like you were attacked when you were not attacked. And I don't know. I just think a lot of I am not seeing trans people being the ones who are saying Blake Lively said the T slur, because trans people understand that the context in which Blake said that was actually supportive and not hateful. I am seeing people who want to do the whole Blake Lively is weaponizing feminism talking points that Melissa Nathan and Jen Abel laid out for them. I'm seeing them pointed out, just like it's primarily white women who are being all, oh, like, well, actually, I will be a little bit more specific there. Just like it doesn't bother me when it's women of color who talk about the plantation wedding, but that a lot of white people like to talk about Blake's history of racism without bringing up Baldoni's because they were told about Blake's and they haven't given enough of a shit to look into Baldoni's for themselves. And I do feel very differently about, like, a white woman sitting there shitting on Blake Lively and saying, oh, she's so racist, look at that, she's racist. And like, okay, and Baldoni has had fucking workplace discrimination suits against him. Can we be serious? Can we be adults? Can we like think about this for a little bit? Can we calm down? Also, I will continue to pound my fist on the table and say you do not have to like her and you do not have to support all her sources. All her choices does not change how I feel about her mistreatment by Wayfair. Exactly. And like I said, like, there are other examples of people being mistreated by Wayfarer, and not only that, like, there are so many. It keeps, the rabbit hole gets deeper and deeper the more I look into it, because it's like there are other people on the set of It Ends With Us. There is the entire conceit of 5 Feet Apart, and like I need to look into the other movies. Like, I bet there's also some shit behind that movie Clouds. Personally, I will always take the person who is supportive of us in a less than PC way than the person who, than someone who uses PC language but ultimately hates us and wants us to not exist. I agree. Yes. All these same people pretending they care about racism don't like black women or Latinas. We tell them not to have MAGA boyfriends and they get mad. Right, like, what else are you, like, what other things have you looked into in terms of trying to be anti-racist, other than the fact that you are excited that you get to call Blake Lively Plantation Barbie? Are you doing anything else? Do you have any feelings about the ways that Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer have been racist? Or do you only care because somebody gave you a cute, mean nickname to use against a woman? Because in a lot of cases, I really do think it begins and ends at, oh, Plantation Barbie seems like a fun thing to start calling her, and, like, it'll make people think that I am way better than them. Which is just, like, it's just weird. It's just weird. Also, they get to call her Plantation Barbie, and I don't get to call him a Justin Bologna? How is that fair? The more that comes up about baloney, the more of an ick I get. I agree. Completely agree. And, like, I had weird vibes from the beginning, from when he, like, suddenly pivoted and started doing very serious marketing from It Ends With Us. That's when I was like, I don't really know how I feel about this. I don't really know that I need to make a video where I'm giving, like, an anti-Blake side of this story, because I feel like everybody else is doing that. But then by the time he hired the tag agency, that's when I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm off, I'm done. And a lot of people, the tag agency thing was not enough for them to realize that he sucked. But I feel like the tag agency was what made me start looking further into... Him hiring the tag agency is what made me start looking further into, like, what he was doing and all of this. And they like... Sorry, my alarm going off has very much distracted me. Um, Oh, but like, so people were telling me that it was unfair of me to throw him in the trash just because of him hiring that agency. And it's like, but there's so much else that is very public before we even had the texts from the agency. I knew that he had hired that agency and that he had talked a bunch about what a feminist he was. And then when I was like, wait, it's literally called Man Enough? That's kind of nasty. People were telling me that I was too mean and that I'm just on Blake Lively's side because she's a woman and that I need to. The other thing that's my favorite is when people tell me that if I actually had class solidarity, I wouldn't defend wealthy women because I would realize it doesn't matter. And it's like, do you realize my job is to do commentary? Do you realize that if I made commentary about, like, Brenda from the South Shore, nobody would watch it? And that's why I need to talk about famous women. Like, not only the fact that famous women matter because the way that famous women are treated informs the way that non-famous women are treated, but, like, it is my job to talk about things that are, like, popular enough that people are noticing them. So when they're saying, like, why are you talking about wealthy women? Would you fucking watch it if I didn't talk about a wealthy woman? Because I think you wouldn't. I think you're not going and watching my other videos because you're interacting with me like I literally only talk about Blake Lively, which is not true. Talk about her very frequently, but not only. Anyway, that's just a little rant, but yeah. That take on class is very classic Marxist. The ones that think that class is more important than gender and race as if they aren't intertwined. Once again, people taking the framework of intersectionality and turning it into a competition of who gets to be valid and who is not valid. And if you have money, white, and woman, whew, oh, you are never, ever, ever allowed to be valid in your life, actually. You are the person who is causing the most damage to anybody else, because we forgot about patriarchy. We forgot about patriarchy once we started learning about privilege. And women obviously do not suffer under patriarchy. So it's only intersectional if you are saying that only specifically, it's only intersectionality if you only shit on white women. That's what intersectionality is, apparently. It doesn't have anything to do with, like, you know, multiple axes of oppression and the way that they intersect. It has to do with finding a way that you can be anti-feminist and be considered woke for it. Because, again, like, it just, if you are coming to me and you are talking to me about some woman's privilege and you are ignoring the fact that, like, being a woman puts her in a position of relative disprivilege that she would not have were she not a woman, I don't care about your opinion anymore. Patriarchy is Latin for white woman. Just noticed the chapel wall. Yes, it actually goes even higher than you can see. I'll duck out of the way here. I got lots of chapel, and I've got some other album covers I really like. I've got some Mitski up there too. Okay, so I'm gonna go grab my stuff from the dryer. And I think I'll be back in just a moment. I think I'll warn my roommates not to lock me out. Okay, sorry. We're having issues in my roommate group chat. Okay. Sorry. I could have just gone off of I just could have gone off live, but Anyway, now I'm gonna go grab my laundry. And then I'll come back and we'll hang out a little bit more, and then I'll probably hop off. But I'll be right back. I'm back. Hello. I should have put a JoJo cam. She's over there. It will not focus on her though. Hi, JoJo. They're so cute. I'll see if I can get her to come over. You want any treats? Would you come over for your treats? Everybody wants to see you. Everybody wants to see you. Hi. Hey, baby cat, come on up. I don't know if she's going to. Come on up. You go up there. She manipulates me. I try to put treats like on the desk or on the sewing table back there so that she'll go for them there. And then she waits for me to throw them on the ground instead so she doesn't actually have to come very close. Come on, baby. Come on up. I can tell you're thinking about it. I can tell. I was thinking about dyeing my hair while I was on stream, because the red washed out so fast. Like it's still, you can still kind of see it, some of it. Like when I pin it back, you can kind of see some of it. But the red washed out really, really fast, because it always does. Oh, are you coming now? Come in. Hi. Hi, beautiful kitty. Hi. You didn't even go where the treats are. Hello. Hi, baby cats. Hi, baby cat. Everybody wants to say hi. Good that baby. There she is. Yeah, can you sit down and look? Nope. Hi. Okay. There it is. Now she's going for the treats. She just had to come see me first. And I'm going to move this so you can actually see her. There we go. Very dark back there, but she is eating the treats. I'm laying next to the very evil cat of my aunt, who's very soft and has very sharp teeth. Yeah, so I was thinking about putting more red back in my hair, but apparently my shower curtain is not staying up. That was part of what I was reading in the group chat earlier, was somebody was saying that the shower curtain fell. And I don't want to have to deal with that, so I'm not going to dye my hair today. But I probably will put some of the red back in soon. I probably won't even do, like, significantly more than I had before. Like, I liked the places where I had it before. It just washes out really fast, because anything red fades really fast. Hi. You are beautiful. Are you going to jump? Are you going to jump? Okay, I will move this. I will move this out of your way. Come on over. Come on over. I can tell you're thinking about it. Wow, good job. Wow. Wow, amazing. Amazing jump, Joey. You are so cool. What's going on with you? Wow. Wow, it's just so beautiful. Say hi. Say hi, Joey. Yeah, say hi. Love you. I love that kitty. She really likes my filming lamp. Have fun at the wedding, BC. Congratulations to your friend. Okay. Hi, baby. Hi, in the way, girl. She's in the way. I love her. Oh, you want to push my hand? Look at that, baby. Hi. Now it's just a cat stream. Hi, kitty. Oh, my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I really appreciate everybody coming and hanging out, especially because I didn't have anything particularly compelling today. Oh, JoJo is short for Joanne Woodward, which actually, as we were fitting, because we were just talking about my boy Bobby earlier, Bobby Claremont, my OC that I was talking about towards the beginning of the stream, I'll put the picture back up for visual aid, actually. Let's see. Can I clamp this over here? We're leaving the pop filter off for now just because it's in the way with JoJo on the desk. But I'll put the thing back up. So my character Bobby, he has a cat, like a normal, I almost said normal human cat, not a human cat, like a normal cat like people have. He has a cat named Paul Newman, and his dad got him Paul Newman, and then he later on in the course of what we were writing, he got a little griffin kitten, like a cat bird thing, because his father works for a magic roadside zoo in New Jersey. Anyway, so this is the art that my friend Kate drew way before Joanne ever existed. This is 2021, and this was like early. This was like late 2021, I think, and I got JoJo in No, not late 2021. I'm so sorry. I'm confusing myself unnecessarily. This was early 2021, and I got JoJo in 2022, I think, or 2023. But either way, JoJo did not exist yet. I did not currently have a cat, and I also didn't have intentions on getting another cat soon. But see, this big one over here is like a tabby cat. And Kate just like drew this. Like, this wasn't based on anything. So it's like we have like these little tabby griffin kittens. And then my boy Bobby took one home, named it Joanne Woodward to go with his cat Paul Newman, because Joanne Woodward is the name of Paul Newman's wife. If you've ever heard the like, why would I go out for burger dinner if I have a steak at home quote, that's something that Paul Newman used to say about like why he wouldn't cheat on his wife. So I sometimes say that JoJo is my steak at home. And it's a long walk to explain that JoJo is named after my OC's fictional griffin kitten, who is named after Paul Newman's wife. So I typically just say that she's named after Joanne Woodward, but that is why she was named after Joanne Woodward, is because Bobby named a cat after Joanne Woodward, and then I named my cat after Bobby naming his cat after Joanne. We are right back where we started with the OC lore. We are. When I got JoJo, I remember I asked my friend, I was like, is this lame? But also I cannot come up with a better name than Joanne Woodward for this cat. And she was like, no, that's Joanne. I finished Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and I loved it and would love more book recs. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I love that book. I really want to read that one again. I would like quite a few of Grady Hendrix's other books. I thought his My Best Friend's Exorcism, which is set in the same place as Southern Book Club, and is about teenagers, and he wrote that one first. That one is really, really good. I also like his book We Sold Our Souls, which is also really fun. And I haven't read it yet, but I have the one that's like on a set at an IKEA or whatever. I think I said in the other stream, like, I don't like Final Girl Support Group. I suggest people do not read Final Girl Support Group. I guess depending on, like, if you can handle really grotesque descriptions of violence, which is like, I know I'm really selling it. But one of my favorite books that I have ever read is called The Violence by Delilah Dawson, and it is amazing. I kind of want to make a video about it, but I also don't really know what I don't have a thesis about it other than just, holy shit, I love this book. The Violence is so good. It's again, though, it's very violent. It can be kind of graphic and gruesome. But it is really good. I think Delilah Dawson, I don't know what else she's written, because I haven't even read any of her other stuff, because I believe it was Star Wars related. Yeah, she wrote a novel about Phasma from Star Wars, and she's written some other stuff too, though. But The Violence is it's also got a really good cover. It's just like this, like, I'm pulling it up. It's like a red background with a knife. This book fucks. It's so good. I'm gonna so it's 3 generations of like a family. So like you have like the middle, like, mom who has a teenage daughter. You have the teenage daughter, and then you also have the grandma. And they're all rotating being like the narrator protagonist. They're all really good. I did this as an audiobook, by the way. I'm sure it's also really good like as a physical book, but I did this as an audiobook and I really loved it. And there's like a it sounds kind of goofy when I try to pitch it. But okay. So the description is a mysterious plague that causes random bouts of violence is sweeping the nation. Now 3 generations of women must navigate their chilling new reality in this moving exploration of identity, cycles of abuse, and hope. So basically, it's like there is a pandemic, and when you catch the illness, if you get it, you black out and you get like rage violent, and you will like beat somebody to death with a Stanley Cup if that is what is in your hand. And so people are like trying not to catch the illness. And it's so good. It's really, really fantastic. There are like a lot of like little side characters that I think about a lot who come up. At one point, one of the protagonists ends up like joining like a wrestling like a wrestling group. Like they put on like wrestling shows, but like it's all like staged, like it's all like K-fob staged stuff. And that whole dynamic with like her and the other people who are like pretending like they have this violence and like they're putting on a show of it. It's so cool. It's such a cool book. The universe is really cool. Like I said though, it is violent. There's a lot of like descriptions where it's like, oh fuck. But it's really good. I also really loved The Family Upstairs, which I also would class as like it's kind of dark. It kind of deserves some trigger warnings, but all the books that are popping into my head are like kind of horror adjacent. The Family Upstairs is really, really good. Family Upstairs is by Lisa Jewell. And The Family Upstairs is like somebody I don't even know how to explain it. But The Family Upstairs is kind of like a split timeline deal. Like somebody is figuring out about this house that they inherited and all of this stuff that used to happen when like basically kind of like a cult used to live there. Family Upstairs also very, very, very cool. If you like the concept of rage virus horror with intense social commentary, Manhunt is a very good trans horror book. It's also just a hard read, as you can probably imagine. I heard Manhunt is really, really good. I have not read it, but I have heard that it's really good. I have it on my list for sure. I also, if anybody's, I know I have lots of Locked Tomb enjoyers. I feel like the Locked Tomb is a much harder sell, because it's kind of fantasy sci-fi, but the Locked Tomb is very, very cool by Tamsin Moore. I highly recommend the Locked Tomb. I should do, I think maybe it would be fun to do an entire stream of book recs and like actually have it laid out ahead of time, which books I think would be good. Let me, because I get a lot of good recommendations from my best friend who works at a bookstore. Let's see. If you want something that's like not scary, I really enjoyed One Last Stop by Casey McQuinton. That's by the same person who wrote like the Red, White, and Royal Blue, which I have not read. But I thought One Last Stop was really good, and it's like cute, fluffy gay stuff. And Locked Tomb is not cute, fluffy gay stuff, but it is very gay. It's very good. Jojo? What are you doing? Hi. Come on up. Hey, kitty. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, look, the Red, White, Royal Blue movie is such a comfort watch. The book is also a comfort read. Honestly, after I read One Last Stop, I was immediately like, oh, I understand why so many people love that Gay Prince one. One Last Stop is really fun. Yeah, the like time travel thing. So that's what's so fun about One Last Stop. It's like one of the love interests is like from like the 80s and like stuck on a train. And then the other love interest is like meeting up with her on the train. It is so cute. It is so sweet. I was very invested in whether or not they were going to like figure it out and get her out. Like I cried. But I loved that book. I felt very warm when I was reading it. And I have never gotten around to Red, White, and Royal Blue, but like I understand the appeal of it now that I have read One Last Stop. I love Casey's books. Her latest one about messy bisexuals spoke so much to me. I should check it out. I should check that out for sure. I've been meaning to read the Locked Tomb for a while now. The Tumblr influence, yes. I saw a lot about the Locked Tomb on Tumblr before I officially read it. My Cliff Notes propaganda. So the Locked Tomb is it's like a very, very post-apocalypse dystopia novel series, and people are split into, like, you have necromancers who can do like bone and body magic, and you have like, they have a cavalier who is like their sword person who protects them. So basically the series starts with the two people who could possibly fill those roles on the ninth house, which is Pluto, being brought to like what is essentially a puzzle escape room with people from all of the other planets, also known as houses. And they're not told what they're working on or what they're trying to accomplish, but they like still have to try to like figure it out before everybody else does. It's like, it's so hard to pitch, but it is so ridiculously fun. It is such a fun series to read. I love I love how the magic works in that series. It's like, it's so well thought out. I love it so much. Red, White, and Blue is pretty cute, and I definitely get why it's a lot of people's comfort reads. I also love a dumbass bisexual protagonist, so it delivered that for me. I wouldn't call Alex a himbo because he's actually very smart when he wants to be, but God, he is a dumbass bisexual mess. Okay, I think I'm being sold on Red, White, and Royal Blue. Maybe I should read it. I never read the Love, Simon book, but I did enjoy the movie of Love, Simon, like maybe a little bit too much, because like I get it, people thought it was cheesy, but I thought it was really sweet. I enjoyed Love, Simon. You know what book I loved reading? I loved reading Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. Is that what it's called? The title is so long. I loved Aristotle and Dante. I thought that one was fantastic. I listened to the audiobook, which Lin-Manuel Miranda voiced. But it was so good. That's a really, really good book. I thought Aristotle and Dante was really sweet. And then I tried to read the sequel, and I realized I didn't really still care. I'm sure maybe the sequel is also really good, but I remember I read the first book so much, and then I started reading the sequel, and I was like, I kind of want to leave it where the first book was. So if I should read the sequel, let me know. But I had a plenty good time just with the first book. Hi, Jojo. Did the movie come out, or was there going to be a movie? Want to recommend Greenland by David Santos Donaldson, which I don't hear talked about a lot. I don't think I've ever heard of that before. I think there was going to be a movie for Aristotle and Dante, but I can't remember if they made it or not. I'm seeing a trailer. Yeah, I guess a movie came out in 2023. I should watch that. I did love that book though. I thought it was really good. And yes, oh my God, Sad Fox, I had a gripe with Love, Simon, but after the James Somerton debacle, I kind of appreciate it, even though I've never read it. Yes, that's the other thing is, I'm fond I was fond of Love, Simon as just like, okay, it's kind of sweet to get to have like a movie where the plot is about coming out. But I am significantly more fond of and protective over it now that I am fond of and protective over the author, who got a bunch of like dumbass, ridiculous, biphobic bullshit thrown at her. Many such cases where I become significantly more fond of a woman on account of doing opposite action against people who are shitting on her for no fair reason. Huge good news, my binding tape came today. Ooh, congratulations. That's crazy. I didn't even hear about the movie, even though it's one of my favorite YA books. I'm either too offline or the marketing just didn't reach me at all. Yeah, I was looking at some of the like aesthetics that came up when I Googled the trailer, and I don't think I saw anything about that other than just that you know. Yeah, if we're gonna talk about someone who uses white women to excuse misogyny. Yes, yeah, exactly. For more gay book recs, I absolutely love the Sam and Snow series. The first book is Carry On. It got popular years ago on BookTube. I never read the Simon Snow series, but I think that it is funny and hilarious that Rainbow Rowell gets to just make money making Harry Potter fan fiction. Like, I'm sure at this point that Carry On is more than just Harry Potter fanfiction, but I read Fangirl when Fangirl was, like, new, and at least as it existed in Fangirl, my understanding was that Simon Snow existed as, like, a Harry Potter, like, insert, and then she eventually started writing those, and I think that's so fucking funny. I think that's hilarious. I think that's great. If anybody deserves to have somebody make, like, gay shit out of their shit, it's J.K. Rowling. Oh, it's fine, Chris. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so I remember really enjoying Fangirl when I read it when I was a teenager. And, I think Marty and I were just talking about this not very long ago. I enjoyed Eleanor and Park when I read it, and then I was like, wait a minute, this was really fucking weird and racist in some parts. Although it does appear as though as though Rainbow Rowell has like been more thoughtful about that in more recent books. But I did, like, just for fun and just not even like for a video or anything. I did recently reread some criticism of Eleanor and Park, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go back to that one. She also made the Simon Snow universe very queer and diverse, which I kind of have to imagine is in response to J.K. Rowling's joling, coling, rollingness. Yes. Yeah, it feels very intentional that she was like, well, this is mine now and I'm writing. And I think that's very funny. I think it's great. Anyone ever read the Beru Cormorant series? Also, hi everyone. Hi, Don't Smoke in Bed. No, I have not read that personally. Yeah, no, I think all the voiceovers that I got were really, really good for the most recent video. I really hope you're not beating yourself up about that, Chris. Trying to think of what other books I love. We should definitely do just like a talking about books stream. I think that sounds really fun. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat. I'm realizing now, like, a lot of this stream I'm just like quiet while I'm reading the chat, or while I was looking at JoJo. Would describe Beru Cormorant as a weird love child between Game of Thrones and Gideon the Ninth. Interesting. I think one of my favorite books at the moment is Queer Little Nightmares. Ooh, that sounds good. It's an anthology of queer poetry and stories about monsters. That sounds really good. That sounds really cool. I'm like looking over at my bookshelf like that's gonna help. If anybody's into memoirs, if anybody, I'm curious if anybody who typically watches my stuff has read Running with Scissors or anything else other than that by Augustin Burroughs. I fucking love Augustin Burroughs, and I think Running with Scissors is one of my favorite memoirs of all time. I got to meet Augustin Burroughs when he did a book signing in Seattle when I lived there. I got to meet him, and I kind of trauma dumped at him that I was like, hey, I read Running with Scissors, and I thought for the first time about like living long enough to write a story about how fucked up my childhood was, and then I checked myself into a psych ward, and he was like, oh my god, I'm so glad. And I was like, yeah, well, I was gay in Texas. Like, I was like panicking a little bit, so I'm like just talking so much at this guy, but I was like, yeah, I was gay in Texas and I hadn't told anybody, and he was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And then he ended up hugging me, which was really sweet. And it's also kind of funny because I had a friend at the time who was like, I met somebody else who met Augustin Burroughs, and they said he was a huge dick to them, and I was like, well, I thought he was very nice, even though I was like, I was putting him in a position that I would not, as a more adult person, put the author of even a memoir I did really love into. He was really, really nice to me. Ophi, by the way, I'm really proud of you for making it this far. I'm so sorry if that's weird to say, but I'm proud of you. Thank you. That's really, really kind of you. I have not read Patti Smith's Just Kids, but I should. I should definitely check it out. I should read more memoirs. Educated by Tara Westover is a memoir that I read last time I was in like a really deep memoir phase, and I thought Educated by Tara Westover was fucking incredible. That is such a good book. Like really captivating, really interesting story, and also just like, you know, I thought I related to it a lot in terms of just like not often hearing from other people who didn't have like even a chance to get like a shitty public school education. Like that's, a lot of people will want to commiserate on like, oh, I also didn't get an education, but then they're like, they were in public school and public school just sucked, or even worse, they were in school and they just didn't pay attention. So like hearing from somebody else who was like actively kept from school was kind of like a huge thing for me. And I think even considering like I would say that my homeschool experience was like pretty extremist, and my experience doesn't look particularly extremist compared to the experience Tara Westover had. But I loved that memoir. It's really, really good. It's heavy, but I thought it was really good and I really enjoyed it. That is another one that I did an audiobook of. I was in a big audiobook phase when I used to have a work from home job because I could listen to books while I was reading documents. But yeah. Proud of all of us, actually, just generally. Y'all are doing amazing and we're all going to be okay. It's great. It's everything is really rough and hard on like the wide outside everything. But like I do feel like there is some level of hope in terms of like I've been able to connect with a lot of other people who like want to do the best that they can for themselves and for other people and for the causes that they care about, even while shit is going down the toilet. And it's a lot to hold all at once, but like, yeah, I'm proud of us too. It's so great to draw the whole MDR Severance team as characters from the Target collection. Uncultured by Daniela Mestianic Young, I probably said that wrong, is great. She was in a sex cult and then the army that she compares as a cult too. Very interesting. I'll definitely check that out. That seems very interesting. I'm currently picking through a couple of books about white feminism, and I don't think that these books that I'm reading fall into the whole like just being sexist and being like, well, I'm just misunderstanding intersectionality so I can shit on white women. Like, I think these books about white feminism make really good really good points. But I'm excited to read something a little bit less broadly nonfiction next time that I am looking for something from the library to bring home. Just because like they're a little bit dense. It's just a little bit dense. I'm enjoying reading them. They're helping me with Lacey Green Part 2, but like it is a little bit dense to read like nonfiction books about like the failures of white feminism and how to combat that, compared to like reading somebody's very specific memoir of like just their own experiences. Okay. I do think that I might hop off. I'm feeling a lot better than I was before I streamed. As I was kind of saying towards the beginning, I've been kind of melancholy ever since I finished working on the 5 Feet Apart deep dive, just because it ended up affecting me more than I thought it would. So I wanted to socialize. I wanted to connect a bit with the community, and also maybe have something up so that if somebody comes to my channel, they have something they can watch that's not like a recent bummer. So thank you very much for hanging out with me, especially while I was working on my laundry, because I don't think I would have finished doing that either if I wasn't. But I love you all very much. This was nice. This helped. I might stream like tomorrow or something when I do dye my hair, because I feel like that would be fun. But I'm not doing that today because my shower curtain is just in a heap in my bathtub, and I don't feel like dealing with that. But I love you all very much. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for letting me info dump about my beloved OCs. And yeah, I also do want to do I want to do a stream about Sunrise on the Reaping, I think, because I'm going to make videos about the Hunger Games. So I might do a stream about Sunrise on the Reaping sooner than I do a video about Sunrise on the Reaping. But I'll probably be doing that soon. I just want to do that one for sure while my best friend's home, because they're gonna want to participate in that. So that might be tomorrow. It might be next week. I'm not entirely positive. But I would love to stream and talk about Sunrise on the Reaping and how much I loved that book. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who did show up and hang out, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you soon, maybe even tomorrow. I love you.